Yo, 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 welcome to another episode of Solo the Culture Podcast. And today, y'all, I'm back with another sports episode for y'all, man. Spurs and the Knicks, y'all. The game 3. Spurs got them a win, y'all. We're going to see. I'm going to give y'all my prediction for the rest of this series. We going to get into them Knicks fans, dog. They've been wilding. Like, when I say they've been wilding, they've been acting crazy. Like, it's insane the shit they got doing. So I got a couple of clips on that. We got a little bit of the WA news, Aja Wilson doing Aja Wilson things, always going crazy. Caitlin Clark hit a game winner last night. We got Angel Reese back in Chicago with the Dream. They playing the Chicago Sky right now, actually, as we speak. And Olivia Miles, I want to give a little bit of shine to her because she has been hooping for her rookie season. She actually just broke a 3-point record. So we're going to get into that. The Browns transition to a little bit of football. They talking about they don't even know who their quarterback going to be until after minicamp. I'm going to give y'all my review on that. Then the Bears to Indiana. Is this a real thing? Or was you feel me? Like how these Bears fans, we're gonna look into how they feeling about this because I ain't gonna lie. I ain't really rocking with it either. So y'all stay tuned.
In this life that I'm living, I pray I make it through the night. As I ride through my city,
So let's get into it with this Knicks and Spurs game 3, y'all. So I ain't gonna lie. Wemby actually showed who he is. You could tell that he kind of locked in, got a little bit of more comfortable with himself in these finals because these first 2 games, I know he had the costly turnover in game 2. Game 1, he just got destroyed. So it's like coming back to drop 32, 8 and 6, 3 blocks. That's what's up. You feel me? I ain't gonna lie. That's a great stat line, especially to be a 22-year-old in the NBA Finals. So to see him come back and have that aggressiveness to like show like we not backing down, I feel like now the Knicks are gonna respect it a little bit more because they've been shutting down. Like, don't get me wrong, Cat has been hooping. Cat has literally been like damn near dominant over Wemby. But when these fourth quarters come around, he low key been nowhere to be found because Wemby, it's like that fourth quarter, they low-key step up their defense. It's like that's when they locking in and they like really coming together defensively and offensively and playing their game. But the biggest thing for the Spurs with me, before we get into a little bit of these highlights, is that I don't like how like they get down so far. You feel me? Like they might get down by 10, 15 different points at one point in the game, and then all of a sudden they storm back. Yeah, they're a young team, they play hard, but to win an NBA championship, you have to be able to stay in the game at all moments. So I'm gonna play a little bit of these highlights right here, but I am just glad to see Wemby actually looking a little bit more comfortable because shit, them first 2 games was rough, rough. So let's get into these highlights right quick. I'm gonna pull them up and we can go from there. Obviously, like I always say, I'm gonna be skipping around just a little bit, so just be prepared for that.
Have got to be better down here, and that's a good way to start right there. The penetration by Fox.
Brunson trying to stop Castle. Towns helping out as well. Once again inside Wembanyama, and he throws it down. Back to Hart. Wemby's presence makes the Knicks hesitate. Bridges, corner 3, shot blocked by Wembanyama. What a start for San Antonio. Fox gets into the paint. Crowd thought he dragged his pivot foot. Instead, Vassell knocks down the 3, and it's a sound stakes. Champagny keeps him in front. Hart left wide open. Connects on a 3.
Cleveland was willing to lose him, but in this series, Josh Hart just has not had opportunities.
Castle gets inside. Good defense from Bridges, but then Castle stays with the play. Banks at home and a chance for a 3-point play. Brunson and Castle. A lot of bumping. Brunson spinning, leans in, falling away. Shot, Banks at home. High off the glass. Throws it down. Shamet tries to fight through another screen, and Harper throws it down. Dylan Harper once again off the bench. When Wembanyama sat on the bench, 8-6. But they still trail by 9, Champagny. Wemby had that great start, crossover out of Robinson. Champagny lets it fly. That's good.
Mike.
All right, Reese. Carter Bryant's first shot of the night. Drills a 3 from the corner. Alvarado wanted to use Towns. Little miscommunication. Pulls up, jump shot. Got it. Guarded by Wemby. A whistle and a foul. How about Jose Alvarado talking about fearless? Still early second. Castle searching for some room. Gets inside easily. Beautiful move Down. They kick it out in the corner. Anunoby on the drive against Wemby. Back up top, Brunson, long three-pointer. Bang! Gets it out to Champagnie, and Champagnie drills it out of foul. Brunson's going to pick up his second and a chance for a 4-point play. Brunson, shot clock winding down. Dribbles, drives inside, shot off the glass, can't get it. Fight for the rebound. Brunson gets it back, puts it up and in.
And OG Anunoby coming in there, even though he didn't get it clean, he stopped Victor from getting an offensive rebound.
Anunoby once again to the rack. Attacking the rim time and time again. He's got 19. Then Castle meeting Brunson at half court every time. Foul, shot's good. Yes, they counted and one. Felt the contact, throw it up. And a chance for a three-point play. That's his second circus shot of the game. He's got 20. Wembanyama. Good ball movement. Towns fakes a three, finds Brunson, extra pass. Shamet off the bounce inside. Layup blocked by Wemby. 2.5 remaining. Brunson finds Hart. Back to Brunson. Fakes the three, drives inside, sidestep, right-handed shot blocked. Castle got a piece of it. Knocked out of bounds. Towns blocked by Fox. Bridges back to Brunson. He's got to put it up. Shot clock winding down. Shot is up. Shot is good. Clutch shot. And it's a 4-point game with 2:20 remaining. Wembanyama comes out. Shot clock at 4. Now the dribble. Shot clock winding down. Castle has to put it up. Bang! Stephon Castle from 3-point range. And it's a 7-point Spurs lead. Brunson drives on Harper. Steps back. 3-pointers up. It's good! Jalen Brunson drills a three. It's a 3-point game. Timeout with 12.2 remaining. And the Knicks still do have one timeout left. Goes to Anunoby in the corner. Fires away. 3-pointer. Got it! OG Anunoby nails it. It's a 2-point game with 9.4 remaining. Another clutch 3-pointer point game.
So as y'all can see, man, this was actually a good ass game, especially when it came down to the wire. Like them last 2 minutes was straight buckets, back to back to back to back. So shout out to both teams for real, for real. I actually want to get into a little bit more with the Spurs because not only is Wemby dropping 32 points, we also got to talk about motherfucking Stephon Castle dropping 23. Like Stephon Castle is a bucket. That 1-2 punch between him and Wemby, I mean, years to come, especially when they grow and like really, really get comfortable in their roles, get comfortable and with the NBA and stuff like that. I'm telling you, bro, that 1-2 punch is gonna be crazy. And then you have a number 3 with Dylan Harper. It is going to be lights out in San Antonio once them three become like they get their big 3 really, really going because they're really just now coming into themselves. Wemby still got to put on more weight, learn the game a little bit more. Dylan Harper's still a rookie, so it's like he in his first season, he ain't really done nothing yet. And then you still got Stephon Castle, who was his second or third year. He might be in his 4th year. So it's like, shout out to all 3 of them. I cannot wait to see what that big 3 is going to look like out in San Antonio years to come because they might have their new Tony Parker, Manu, and Tim Duncan in just a newer form. You feel what I'm saying? So shout out to the Spurs. And shout out to Jalen Brunson because Jalen Brunson definitely put up 32, 5, and 5. And that boy been hooping all 3 games. Like, he ain't had a bad night off. You feel what I'm saying? Like, the first game, yeah, he started off a little bit shaky, especially with him like having a few little injuries. I know he had messed up his ankle at first or his knee, and then he came back off that and got going in that 4th quarter, and they ended up coming back and winning that game after being down 14. So shout out to Jalen Brunson and Cat. I ain't gonna lie, Cat has been hooping. Now this last game, he only had 11 points, 8 rebounds. You can't do that when you're supposed to be a number 2, especially in the NBA Finals if you want to win a championship. Like I don't think Cat played aggressive enough last night. But these first 2 games, it's like Cat has been showing he might be the best big man out coming out the East for sure. So shout out to Cat, shout out to Wemby, shout out to the Spurs, shout out to the Knicks. I can't wait to see this, but I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I believe that the Spurs can walk them down from here on out. Like, all right, you got one in New York. You feel what I'm saying? Now you going back to New York. If you can get another one in New York, you can take this shit game by game versus like, oh, we got to beat them in 7. Like, this is a series. Like, no. If you take this game by game at this point, because you're down 2-1, you feel me? You're still in New York. You already got you one in New York. You another one in New York. You going back to San Antonio. You feel me? You back in front of your home crowd. Now you got a little bit more confidence. You got the momentum. You feel me? You got what you got going. Get you one in San Antonio. Say y'all go back to New York and y'all lose. You feel me? You still got home advantage in game 7. So I ain't even gonna lie. I 100% believe that the Spurs are gonna be able to walk down and beat the Knicks in 7. But if if they are able to contain Cat. If they can't contain Cat, like if you notice how they contained Cat last night, yeah, OG Anunoby went off for 28 points. Cool. We'll take that, right? Because 28 points and they still really lost. But if you could contain Cat, they held him to 11 points, 8 rebounds. If you could do that again for at least the next 2 games, you good. You feel me? And they defense is good enough to do that. So it's like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm going Spurs in 7, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm still got my faith in the Spurs. I'm going Spurs in 7. Now, keeping in with the Knicks right now. These Knicks fans, they are tweaking. Like, I don't know what they got going. I'm finna show y'all some clips, but they are literally catching people downtown in whatever the little Times Square or whatever around Madison Square Garden, catching people with Spurs jerseys on, literally ripping them off of them, like beating them up, jumping people just because they got on Spurs jerseys. Now, let me show y'all a couple of these clips right quick because this is crazy. And it's not like they just going for like old, young folks, younger kids, blah, blah, blah. No, they're going for old heads too. Check this out.
Fuck the Spurs! Fuck the Tottenham! Fuck me all! Fuck me all! Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Oh, what are you looking at?
Snuffed him out. Chasing people down the street.
Where you wanted to go? From the Spurs, nigga. Pick it off. Yeah.
Wildin'.
Get off me. I'm gonna get one of y'all. Oh shit. Fuck. Come on, pussy. Get off me. I'm gonna get one of y'all. Oh shit. Oh shit. Everybody. Oh.
Like ripping that shit, cuz.
Spurs with it. Spurs with it. On my mama. On my mama. 1-2. 1-2. Spurs with it. 1-2. 1-2. Spurs with it. 1-2. Who's scared? Who's scared? Who's scared? Get the fuck out!
Like, look at this. Man, these boys is wildin', dog. He took his off and threw it. But like as y'all can see, bruh, like these Knicks fans, they are wild. And this is why they took down and banned all their little watching events. I told them they can't come into certain squares or certain parts of the city unless y'all have a ticket, stuff like that. Because they are wilding, like, dog, literally ripping people's stuff off. Now, they lucky they're in New York because it's one of those situations like if they was in the South, Midwest, people, and even in the West Coast, people got guns on them. You can't have no guns in New York, you feel me? So it's like, you try to do that somewhere else, they gonna really pop your ass. Especially if they try to come to San Antonio and do that to people. Like, you definitely gonna get popped out there. So it's like, these people, I ain't gonna lie, y'all gotta chill. Y'all have to chill. But it's one thing we do know. If the Knicks win, they're gonna burn the city down. If they lose, they're gonna burn the city down. So it's like it doesn't matter which way this series goes, they're gonna fuck that city up. It don't matter. So shout out to the Knicks, shout out to the Spurs, shout out to their fans, you feel what I'm saying? But them Knicks fans is wild, and they gotta chill just a little bit. I ain't gonna lie, that's crazy. Ripping people's stuff off is crazy because at the end of the day, that's damn near like you vandalizing their property. So next. Let's get into the WNBA, y'all. So, we got a little bit of Caitlin Clark news. She been in the news a lot lately. I know it's been a lot of snippets, a lot of edits coming out about, people like these WNBA players almost trying to like bully her, you know what I'm saying, pick on her in the league, trying to do hard fouls, hard picks, push her around a little bit, you feel what I'm saying? But we got some good news off of, you feel me? We got these deep three for the win, you feel me? She ended up calling game last night. Let me show y'all this. On screen.
Mitchell comes off the screens, but so does Clark. Up and in!
From deep. Down there from the logo.
Timely.
You feel me? So shout out to Caitlin Clark, you feel what I'm saying? She always, been a three-point threat. We know how deep she can shoot the ball. That's what she really got famous off of. So shout out to her. You feel me? But let's get into the real GOAT of the WNBA right now. A'ja Wilson. 34, 12, 9 with 3 blocks, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. I always say Maya Moore is the GOAT, but after looking at a little bit of her, more of A'ja Wilson, looking at her highlights and stuff like that, dog, she is something to be reckoned with for real. Look at this.
Inside, swatted by Wilson.
She plays both sides of the ball.
She's one-on-one. She's going to go to work. Wilson uptakes. Caught. Dolson counted and the foul. Smith down low. Wilson on the drive. 3 to shoot. Melissa Smith able to get it to drop. Count it and the foul. Turning the corner. Draws 2. Switch there by the Storm. Wilson. It's the next bucket. Will be 6K. And there it is.
Hey, congrats on her 6K too. 6,000 points. One of the fastest players to do it in WNBA history.
Smith wide open.
That's lit. So shout out to A'ja Wilson, man. She's something. She's different. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. She is a fucking bucket. And it's something that is like, at first I used to always say Maya Moore because she just won. She's a winner all the way around. But then to have 4 MVPs before the age of 30, possibly 5 coming up this year, she had already did the MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Finals MVP, and the championship. Like, in one season, dog. I ain't gonna lie, I gotta give it to her, bro. A'ja Wilson, she's her, bro. I ain't gonna lie. She possibly is already the GOAT of the WNBA. If not, by the time she retires at the end of her career, I ain't gonna lie. It is definitely one of those things that is over with. It ain't no argument, none of that. She will be the GOAT of the WNBA. But some more news coming out the WNBA. So the Atlanta Dream and the Chicago Sky, you feel what I'm saying? Andrew Reese's return back to Chicago. It's one of those things that it's like, that's an exciting thing to see, especially by the way that she went out and left in Chicago. I want to see how she's going to perform against them. But they Atlanta Dream went ahead and got the win, 82-75. Andrew Reese had 17 and 17. That, I ain't gonna lie. I know a lot of people gonna say half them 17 probably me bounds, but dog, 17 and 17 and 17 and 17. That's actually crazy. So shout out to Andrew Reese. On the other side of the ball, you had Skylar Diggins with 17, 3 and 3. Camila Cardoso with 13 and 5. Natasha Cloud had 18 and 4. So shout out to the both teams, you feel what I'm saying? The Dream especially, because Andrew Reese it was her return home, you feel me? She had to show out. If she did not show out with a big game, you feel what I'm saying? That, you know how the media is. They instantly would have, oh, well, it was might have been a right move for Chicago, this, that, and the other. So, shout out to them. You feel me? Shout out to the Chicago Sky, because they did look like they had a nice roster, had a nice little groove going, and they lost Rapia Jackson. She's out for the season with a torn ACL, so it's a tough, bad situation out there. But hey, I'm glad to see Andrew Reese being able to put up a big game, especially like that against her own team like that. But another woman that came into the WNBA this year, it's her rookie year. I thought that Ozzy Fudd, she was gonna be the top rookie this year. She a sharpshooter, could play both sides of the ball. But Olivia Miles is her. She already broke the WNBA single game 3-point record. She's been hooping. I think in the last 4 or 5 games, she's averaged 22 and like 9. She is her. I'm not gonna lie. She's nice. She almost played like a dude. It's kind of crazy the way she like handles the ball. She sees all over the court. She could shoot that thing. She plays both sides. On defense, she's crazy too. So I ain't gonna lie. I'm really, really, really want to see more of her, especially after her in the years to come, because as her game develops, it's gonna be crazy because she's an all-around player. Like, she literally does everything. Everything. So shout out to Olivia Miles. I want to see what she's going to develop into because she nice, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. If you ain't checked her out, check her out because she is her. She's nice for sure. Now, transitioning into a little bit of football, you feel me, y'all? We're gonna move over to the NFL side of things. The Browns. They talk about they don't know who their quarterback gonna be until after their mandatory minicamp. That's probably the dumbest thing I've probably ever heard. You've got Deshaun Watson over here. And don't get me wrong, I know everything that happened with him, injuries, Achilles gone. He might not come back the same player. Cool. Once he knocked that rust off, trust me, y'all get him a line and some pieces out there to throw to. Deshaun Watson should be, it shouldn't even be an argument that he should be the number one, QB1. You feel what I'm saying? Like, Shador still has time to learn. I can understand if they like, Deshaun Watson coming to his last year. We got Shador here. We want to re-sign him. We want to keep him. We want to develop him. Should we play him or should we play Deshaun in his last year? Me personally, I can understand it, but let me play Deshaun because that way Shador can learn from behind him. You get what I'm saying? Take up on some of his like mannerisms, the way he prepares for games, sees how he reacts to certain game time decision things. You feel what I'm saying? Like in game or on the sidelines. So it's like, it should be a no-brainer that Deshaun Watson should be starting for the Cleveland Browns coming up this next season. I could see them putting Shador in there just because they want him to get reps, but I ain't gonna lie. Shador, he's good. He will be ready eventually. But right now, when you have Deshaun Watson on your team and you have a decent, y'all just lost Myles Garrett. You got Jared Verse out there. But it's like, give me Deshaun. I ain't gonna lie. If he's healthy and we could possibly win with him, give me Deshaun Watson all day. Because we not saw what Deshaun Watson was before he got hurt. Like, if you give him a line, he's gonna make it happen. If he never got hurt or had the whole little, physical therapy thing go on with him, we would have still been talking about him in the likes of Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Like, I'm telling y'all, dog, he's him. So hopefully he can knock the rust off and show the world that he's still that guy because, you know what I'm saying? The coach has some battles with that boy, and he ain't nobody to play with for sure. Now, moving on, the Bears. They have officially announced that they will be moving to Hammond, Indiana. They're getting a crazy tax break, which is going to be horrible on the citizens, which I get more into in the next culture news pod. But dog, the Bears to Indiana. I personally don't know how I feel about this, y'all. Like, we already got the Colts. You feel me? Like, that's all we need. Indianapolis, we the best team in Indiana. You feel me? But now you bring the Bears over there. I know it's just they're trying to connect the South Side of Chicago with Northwest Indiana. It's a little bit of a drive, but it's also like, dog, these Bears fans not happy about that. They talk about boycotting games, how they not going to be going back and forth to Hammond or going across the state border. They don't want to deal with the traffic. Who's going to try to get over there by 12 p.m. every day and coming back in that Indiana traffic? So it's like, hey, I ain't gonna lie. Shout out to the Bears, but y'all need to find a way to stay in Chicago. Like, it's one of those things. Like, Soldier Field is so nostalgic. It has so much history to it. Y'all been there for, it's literally between them and I want to say the Packers stadium are the oldest 2 stadiums in the league. So it's like, if y'all could just put a dome out there, you feel me? Renovate Soldier Field to where they have like a dome on it, get a retractable roof, something. Because they have to find a way to stay in Chicago. It's like, it just makes the city looked better when you had that type of feel. You know what I'm saying? Especially during football season, when you had that atmosphere of the Bears, it makes the city better. So shout out to the Bears, but they have to find a way to stay in Chicago. Like, do not leave Chicago. Now, before we get up out of here, you feel what I'm saying? Man, we had a big loss in the NBA world, the broadcasting world. Stacey King passed away at 59 years old. He was a broadcaster, color broadcaster for the Chicago Bulls, especially during Derrick Rose's time when he was there. So I want to say from 2006 to about pretty much up until this past season or a little bit before that one, let's say like 23, 22. But if you ask me, the greatest commentator in Bulls history, I grew up listening to him and let's go home, Chicago, beep, beep, or drive safely, you know what I'm saying? And talk about hot sauce and all this extra stuff. Like, that was one of my favorite commentators of all time. Like, I even knew him by name. I don't know any other commentators by name like that. So, shout out to Stacey King's family. I'll send my condolences to them. Like I said, he's the GOAT commentator of Chicago history. So, my condolences to them. And like I end every podcast, make sure you wake up every day with intentions to do good things, to be a great person, take accountability in any and everything that you do. And shit, we'll get at y'all soon with the next one.
In this life that I'm living, I pray I make it through the night as I ride through my city.